All right, come. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. That's Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, in the name of the Son, Yahushua, who the world knows Jesus Christ. Right, we're the angels of Yahweh. Right, I'm the brother priest Kazak, joined with my brothers. Right, I'm gonna let them go ahead and get it in, introduce themselves.
Yeah, Shalom, my name Kopad. Try to believe I man, we're gonna get it going. Talking about prophecy today. Should be a good lesson.
So,
Khan, all praise to the Most High. First and foremost, give all praise to Yahweh and His only begotten Son, who the world can call Jesus Christ. I'm Aharon. Man, we about to break these prophecies down, man.
okay, let me do a quick sound check real quick before we go any further. Somebody say something real quick.
Yo, Shalom.
Somebody say something real quick.
Shalom, Shalom.
Yo, Shalom. All right, come on, we good.
Now my voice sound good as fuck on that motherfucker, boy.
That get crazy.
Nice voice said, nigga.
So we gonna get into
Pop
some
Smoke
current.
sounded that.
You said what?
I said Pop Smoke sounded that.
Oh, bro, you sound like Pop Smoke. But we finna get into these current events, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Right, we gonna start off with there's been a lot going on, and the Most High told us to watch. Let me just grab a quick preset. I'm start that on Isaiah 62. Right, this is Isaiah 62, verse 6. It says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. So our job as servants of the Most High is to be watchmen. Right? We see what's going on the earth. We filter it through the scriptures, right? And we present it to you, whether it be biblical prophecy or whether it just be, things that the Lord said will be happening amongst our people, right? It said, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence. So it's our job not to hold this information back, right? We got to feed the sheep. We got to feed the flock, right? That's why, I titled this Feed the Flock Friday. Let me grab this in Acts 20 real quick, and I'm past it.
I got a preset too.
All right, come on.
The Jeremiah 50 and verse 2. Declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. That word for standard goes into banner, a sign. Set up a sign, publish and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Bel and Merodach is confounded. I believe those are Babylonian gods or cities. Is broken into pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken into pieces. Right? So we're commanded to prophesy against Mystery Babylon.
Prophesy against these nations and feed the flock, which is our people, the 12 tribes, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Right? This Acts 20 and 28. It says, Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock, right, over which the Holy Spirit have made you overseers to feed the church of God. Right? So we commanded to feed the church of God, like the Lord said to Peter, feed my sheep, feed my flock. Right? That commandment is spread upon us as well, to feed the Lord's church, to feed the flock, to feed the sheep. It says, which he have purchased with his own blood. Right? So that's our job, that's our duty, and that's what we go get into today. Let me share my screen.
I got another preset.
I got a preset.
All right, go ahead, because I got to do something real quick. Go ahead.
The Jeremiah 51 and verse 12. Basically a parallel, a reiteration. Set up the standard, set up a banner, a sign, upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, right, with the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes For the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. So, in preparing the ambush, we know that we are commanded to keep the Torah, right? And as we prophesy against Mystery Babylon, we're enacting the prerequisite for the fall of Babylon, right? Because winter comes before destruction, right? So that's why it's important to prophesy against this land. You could get your precept.
No, I'll drop it. We can move on to something else.
I'm going to spit that bit, nigga. Hey.
No, I was just gonna say, because we could be anywhere else doing, on a Friday night with our feet kicked up, watching Netflix. But hey, the Most High put it on our spirit, right? Urging us to come out here and do the work, to send forth His word, via social media, because it spread fast. It can possibly spread faster than us physically being out there on the highways and byways. So we got to stay connected somehow. But right here, I'm in Acts 20 and 24. It say, "But none of these things move me, neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy and the ministry which I have received of the Lord Yahushua to testify the gospel of the grace of Yahweh." Right? So, we out here to proclaim the gospel. We all know what the gospel is, right? According to Isaiah 61, right? We trying to free the blind, the captives, those who sit in darkness, right? With the preaching of the gospel, So that's what we set out to do tonight.
Yeah, like I was going into, us preaching this gospel is a prerequisite for the things that are to come, right? So you got Matthew 24 and verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So the end can't come until we do what we are doing. We know that knowledge shall be increased in the end times. We're starting to read these scriptures, and the understanding of what we're reading is starting to be unveiled even more so. Now you got prophets like Isaiah and Jeremiah that lived during the time of Babylon. So when you read these prophecies, you may think it's pertaining to ancient Babylon because that's the time in which they live. But the things that we're reading about, which must come to pass, they didn't happen in ancient Babylon, right? So we're getting closer to the end and we're reading these things. And I've been reading Jeremiah 50 and 51 today. These things are already coming to pass. We're in the midst of these things, right? We're at the point right before it gets very bad and everybody sees it.
It's like it.
And that's heavy.
Go ahead.
And that's heavy what you're saying, right? About prophecy, right?
Mm-hmm.
One got to ask themselves and be honest with themselves, what type of spirit you in, right? What type of spirit you in? Is you in a debate spirit? Is you in a pleasing your flesh spirit, right? Is you in it for clicks, right? If you not in the spirit of prophecy, you just going off, man. And the Most High gonna lift your skirt up and expose you eventually. If you're not in the spirit of prophecy, you not really, your heart ain't in this thing.
Yeah, and even in all those things you just mentioned, debating, searching for clicks, these are things that we need to do, but two people can be doing the same thing, but the difference is the intention. What are you doing it for? What's the purpose? Right? The Bible says, two shall be in the field, one taking the other left. It says, one man shall be left of his city. And what does it say? Like one man, two people of a family, one person of a city. right? So the people around you, y'all could be doing the same thing. What is the intention? Right? That's what I'm honing down on.
Speaking on that spirit of prophecy, I'm just bringing this out and we're gonna jump into it. Right, this Revelation 19:10. It says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua," who the word only called Jesus Christ. It says, "Worship God, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy." Right, and we don't see. I ain't not been one time where I didn't been to the Christian church when I was there, when I was going there, with my grandmother or with my mother or whatever, and the pastor started going into prophecy. I ain't never seen the pastor open up the book of Revelation, open up the book of Daniel, or any other prophetical books. I ain't never heard the pastor go into those books or go into, Matthew 24 and start breaking it down, or Luke, what is that, Luke 17 or Luke 21. I ain't never seen the pastors or the preachers or the deacons or nobody go into that. That's because the Christian church don't have the true spirit of Yahweh. They don't got the testimony of Yahweh, which is the spirit of prophecy. Right? The Lord put his prophets out on the corners. Like it says, I believe that's Isaiah 30:20, thy eyes shall see thy teachers. Right? Thy eyes shall see thy teachers. I believe that's what Isaiah 30:20 is. But the Lord put his true teachers out there on the corners, right? To bring you this word, to go into these deep parables, to go into these prophecies, right? To give you the proper understanding so you could, gird your damn self up, get your own household in order and get yourself in order, right? So you could, Lord willing, get that salvation. Right? We ain't out here just to do this for, like the brother said, we ain't doing this for clickbait and all that other shit. We ain't doing it for that. We specifically doing it because the Most High put his spirit upon us and gave us a commandment, charged us to go out there and, tell the people of these things that must surely come to pass. Right.
Yeah, I got a precept.
And
So, like you were going into, the Christian church does not prophesy. They even prophesy contrary to what the Most High spoke. Right? You go to Jeremiah 23:21. It says, I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. So if you're reading the Bible and it redundantly speaks on the fall of Mystery Babylon, but the Christian church tells you to pray for America, pray that it's all going to be okay, they're going contrary to thus saith the Lord. Right?
all right, so without further ado, we gonna hop into this first little article that we got. Let me see where it's at. I know it's up there. Oh, there. All right, let me share my screen.
Yeah, boy.
Y'all see the screen, right?
Yeah.
I'm on mic sound. My mic still out.
Shit decent. I hear myself.
All right, Tony, yeah, I'm gonna have to. When I start playing the video, we gotta mute, and then once the video over with, how long is this? Is this a specific point where the video start?
Damn. That's the shit I sent you. You don't have to play the whole thing, but she made the point early. Let me mute my shit.
All right, let me just play it. Hold on, let me mute my mic real quick. I don't want no feedback.
because tomorrow, Good Friday for Christians around the world, it's also Passover. This holiday weekend sometimes can be 3 days for people. And look at what happens on some weekends. Teenage takeovers that out of Chicago, taking the country by storm, wreaking havoc and putting others at risk. A mob damaged nearly 30 cars as they descended on the city's Hyde Park neighborhood. Beautiful area, by the way. Jumping on rooftops and breaking windshields, one person arrested there. Washington, D.C. also has seen teenage takeover chaos. The city council postponed a vote on extending its emergency curfew, which means it's now set to expire this month. U.S. Attorney for the district, Jeanine Pirro, says that is a horrifically bad idea.
Right, so like y'all was able to see that though, right?
Yeah, I wish you had the other one. They were
Yeah.
showing them jumping on cars.
So like if you could probably find it and send it to me, I'll play it. But so they had you saw, I mean, you saw the YNs, they out there wilding out. They out there wilding out doing what they do. And this really every year they be doing this. You know, this really every year that they be doing this, they like the brother Aharon just said, they be out there jumping on the cars, you know, terrorizing the streets. You know, they really just being kids for real, but at the same time, you know, these kids they act like they ain't really got no home training. The brother Mabawal, who I saw in the comments, he just had a video, experience he had on the red line, and the kids they started jumping some old man. They started jumping the old man. They cut this. Hey, if the brother ain't intervened and told them to stop or whatever, they probably could have beat that old man to death or something like that. Cause these
Yeah.
things been happening. It was just 2 months ago they put another elder in the hospital, and the elder had fringes on, and they put him in the hospital. This is in Chicago, and brothers held a unity camp for that out there. I believe that was out west, right? They held a unity camp for that. But so these YNs, these young niggas, they've been tripping. You know, the YNs and the YBs, the shorties, right? They've been tripping, been what they say, doing a big one. Like the brother just said, they terrorize. I mean, they hopping on cars, destroying cars. The people just the newscaster just said about 30 cars was vandalized during that time. Right, 30 cars. That's why. So like we go get into it. Brother's got a precept I can pull up. Let me see. I'm gonna grab this real quick.
I got a precept too.
All right, I'm gonna go right here. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go to let's go to the Apocrypha.
Hey, you know that video you were just talking about from Mabawal? I put that
Yeah,
in the chat. If you could pull that up on your computer, I don't know if you can.
All right, you put it in the chat.
Yeah. I
All right,
just
we
responded
gonna show
to
that.
it.
We
So,
gonna show that video
yeah.
because they need to see that. I don't know if Aharon looking for that video that he brought up. He could be. Right, this the book of second Esdras. So like, let me share my screen. Y'all see the screen, right?
Yeah.
This the book of second Esdras, chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 8. It say, there shall be confusion also in many places, and the fire shall often be sent out. The confusion, that's talking about uproars of the people. You know, random things happening like sinkholes, earthquakes, all of these things that happen, and those are things that cause confusion in many places, right? And it says the fire shall often be sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places. Right? We kind of seen that in the what's that movie, Leave the World Behind? All them deer was just showing up, and all these other wild beasts they was just showing up in random places and all that. That's because animals have an instinct of when you know shit is about to hit the fan over there, right? because the Most High, He gave them that instinct to do so. But it says, then shall, so like it says, and wild beasts shall change their places. And here go the point: menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, meaning young women, right? Young women, and these women, they go bring forth monsters. Because nowadays, modern times, is really, according to the what the curses, is really not no fathers in these households, right? I mean, well, black fathers are on the rise up. Black fathers are taking care of their children more, right? But you also got the statistic and the fact that a lot of children are growing up without the father in the household, right? Due to no structure in our marital system or in our guidance among, you know, in our leadership among us governing ourselves to hold these marriages accountable, and who our children are, sleeping with, and what they doing, when they not under our supervision or whatever. You got a lot of children, they out here, freaking off, and they having babies and all that. And these children, they bringing forth monsters, right? Like we say this all the time, granny not 60, 70 no more. Nowadays, granny 30, 40, and the daughter, mama, she 14, 15, whatever. So she is a baby. You got babies raising babies out here, right? And those children that they raising up is becoming monsters. They ain't got no structure, they ain't got no guidance, no discipline within them. So that's why you see things like this. What's going on with what happened to this past weekend in Chicago, with these with these kids. See if I can go back to that.
And you know what? They're not even
keep
just
that.
monsters, but they aspire to be that way. Just because of the influence.
Salakia. That's why you got things like that. You said they aspire to be that way.
Yeah, they aspire to be that
Why
way.
do-
They don't
Right.
even
Why
have
do
to
they
do the
aspire
shit
to be
that
that
they
way?
do.
Because that shit is pushed on our people. That lifestyle, that mindset is pushed upon our people, right? And Esau know exactly what he doing. They push it upon us through, the music. It's on the TV. These little kids, these girls, they watching. What's that? They watching the Now That's TV, the Zeus Network, the baddies and all of that. They watching
I,
things like that, the Blueface and the Krishan and stuff like that. And they seeing this and they want to act that out, right? They
I got the
seeing the
precept.
drill rappers and they want to act that out, right? Even the game systems and all that, they want to act those things out. What they see on GTA, they want to do that in real life, and all of that is used in the form of witchcraft to give our children a type of mindset that they have today to act out in the way that they acting out. Brothers got something?
Yeah, so you have certain spirits that rule and govern over different regions, states, and cities. And the spirit of Babylon is likened unto wine, which is that strong delusion. So the aspiration to be wicked from my youth comes from the wine of Babylon. So you go to Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore the nations are mad. Right? So people are drinking of the wine, the strong delusion, the influence of Mystery Babylon, causing them to assimilate to the mannerisms and the actions that they're withholding, right?
Okay, Salakia, the brother found the article. I'm finna post it on the screen real quick. Just give me a quick sec. Let me send this to the email.
How long you gonna take? I could go into another preset.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so passages like Isaiah 3, Isaiah 4, even Deuteronomy 28 are cyclicist prophecies. There's not one point in time that you can apply these prophecies. But as we get closer to the end, Isaiah 3 and Isaiah 4 are going to become more prevalent, such as 7 women being joined to one man. Even Second Edra speaks on that thought, because our men are going to die because of the war, leaving our women vulnerable, right? So these are the conditions that we're facing. But a part of that, when you go to Isaiah 3 and verse 4, And I will give children to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. Like we're finna bring up, our brother Mabawal witnessed some little kids beating on this old ass man. I'm not even sure if there was any reason they were doing it. They were just trying to wild out on some bunk gang shit, just doing shit that they don't need to do, right? So, skipping to verse 13, as for my people, children are their oppressors. You can't necessarily apply this to white people, Asian people, but as for my people, this is talking about the people of Israel. Children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. The women are not in their rightful position being the head of the house per se, because the man is not present, right? So the little kids, they're not respecting the authority of the woman because that's not her natural office, right? You could be the best mom in the world. That don't mean you're a father, right? So as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy path. Those which lead thee, that could be young boy, right? Lil Durk. That could even be the Christian pastor that tells you there are only 10 commandments, and you can go commit a sin every motherfucking day and just say, God forgive me. Then it's okay, right? These are the things that cause our people to err.
It's like it. Can you read that from the top again, Baba Shah?
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Isaiah 3 and verse 12. As for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O
Right,
my
it says,
people.
and women rule over them. Right. That precept right there just shows that our women are the creators of the YNs. Right. They basically created them. They created YN culture. Right. You gotta give it to them, because that's basically what the precept is saying. The women rule over them with FDO. Right. Pooh Shiesty, his little hit that he just dropped. Who he got in the beginning? He got his mama. She said, she said, listen to your mama, son. She said, go in that booth, you talk that gangster shit, and woo. These women created the YNs, bro. They created them.
Even if they don't realize that they're doing it, they indirectly permiss it, because they're
Right.
given the leniency for the children to do that, because they're not disciplined rightfully. It's a
Right.
big thing in Mystery Babylon that our women don't want our kids to be whooped.
Like
Why
even in the
fuck not,
beginning,
nigga? Look how the fuck
when
they
she,
acting, nigga.
even when she first hopped on the track, she was like, "My young nigga is back."
Hey, you need to play that shit.
She said,
Hey,
she
hey,
said that. So it's just foretelling. It's spiritual, right? People don't look at that, but that's real spiritual right there. How it shows the mindset of our people, where we at in today's time, and how, like the precept says, women are ruling over, these households, and that's not their office to be ruling over a household. But at the same time, just like you can blame the woman, you got to blame the man as well, because our men, they not being raised up to be proper leaders, right, to run the household, right, to put their woman in check and put their woman in order. So it's like it's a failure all the way around. It's a full circle failure. And what does it bring up? It brings up more men that can't rule over their own household, that are emotional, that do things out of emotion. Like Pooh
impulse.
Shiesty, he did everything he did was just straight out of emotion. Everything these kids is doing out here on these streets is straight out of emotion. Right? That's why it's saying what's that? Deuteronomy 28 and 54. The man that is tender among you and very delicate. Now, when you read verse 56, it calls the woman tender and delicate among you as well. Now, how is it saying that the man and the woman is both tender and delicate? And the man that's tender and delicate, he gonna have an evil eye towards his brother. It's talking about this brother is emotional. Tender and delicate is the emotion is a this brother is this fragile brother is what it's saying. He's probably raised by his mama 9 times out of 10. So he's an emotional brother. So he's tender and delicate. You say one wrong thing to him, he ready to snap off. He ready to crash out because he's tender and delicate, right? Us as men, we supposed to be, hard, rough, strong,
It's
stern,
at the same time contained. People have a
right?
wrongful
Contained,
idea of what it is to be masculine. That
right?
they
Exactly,
think uncontained expression makes somebody respect you as a man,
right.
right?
So yeah, so like we see that, and we see these curses upon our people. That's why can't nobody tell us that we not the Israelites, right? I'm gonna pull up this video that the brother Aharon just sent me real quick. I believe this is right here. Let me share the screen.
I could get a preset while you going into that.
All right, if you got one, go ahead.
This
It's
is
up.
Micah 7 and verse 6. For the son dishonoreth the father, the daughter rises up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and the man's enemies are the men of his own house. Therefore I will look unto the Lord, I will wait for the God of my salvation, my God will hear. And we know that salvation that's going into the end time. I got an echo, so I'm gonna mute.
Demanding answers and accountability following a teen takeover last night. They damaged several vehicles. Leslie Moreno spoke to one resident who had a vehicle stomped on, and she's live with the latest. Leslie.
Hey, Don, good evening. Yeah, residents here in Hyde Park are extremely frustrated. I mean, we just saw one of these teen takeovers last week in the Loop. Residents here say that these are happening more often, and they fear that they're becoming more violent every time. Another teen takeover, this time in Chicago's Hyde Park neighborhood.
This didn't end until like midnight. They were here for a long time.
Crowds of teenagers flooded the street, stomping and walking over.
Lock it. But y'all see that they running on top of the cars. Right? Hold on. Look at that. Y'all can hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Con, I hear you. I hear you.
All right, come. Yeah, they
I just got to mute because I
right
got
on
an
top.
echo.
Okay, come. I think it's because I shared the screen. Yeah, like soon as I did that, it came with an echo. Let me see if I can edit this.
Four 22.
But yeah, as y'all can see, they running on top of the cars, doing all type of crazy stuff, and we gonna be in Hyde Park tomorrow though. But that's crazy though. Like you never really see this in Hyde Park. Like the other news lady said, that's a so-called decent area. You got a lot of so-called wise wisdom out there in Hyde Park. A lot of our people they in the Afrocentric. They into Pan Africanism, and you got Moors over there. You got all these other. That's no true wisdom, but it's a higher esteem from just you know not knowing who you are. It's what they call the conscious community or whatever. You got a lot of consciousness over there in Hyde Park. and they've been getting gentrified a lot lately these past few years, but it's still a heavily black populated area though. But brother's got a precept because I got one.
Yeah, I got a precept, and these little kids, but they don't even have to do this shit, bro. And that they're just, there's nothing intelligent about doing this. The only thing you could get locked up, you can fuck up what somebody got going on. You're gonna cause damage to a car. There's no wise reason to do this. They're just looking for some adrenaline, a thrill, right? And this is what we're incentivized to do, even by all the dumbass music and shit. This doesn't come up out of thin air. This comes because of conditioning, right? If I were to tell you, instead of showing you what happened, you would assume that it's black people. Because white people, Asian people, Arab people, they're not incentivized to be this way, right? So you go to Jeremiah 4 and verse 22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are sottish children. This word for sottish goes into foolery. They have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good they have no knowledge. Right? And black people, bro, we're intelligent than a motherfucker, bro. We're intelligent. These aren't dumbass kids. They're just doing dumbass shit. Right?
And ultimately, like, the Most High, and what was that other like? But ultimately, the Most High, though, you know, he gonna handle all these shorties. You know, a lot of them they probably go get drafted. You know, if they of the age of 18. You know, a lot of them they probably go, and we don't wish this upon our people, but it's probably what's gonna happen. Lord willing, unless they repent, they go have some rough times coming up, right? And the prophets, they didn't spare the young children back then, right? When they came messing with them. This is Elisha, right? And this is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 2, and verse. What I want to start at? I'm gonna start at verse 22. Right, 2 Kings 2 and 22, it says, so the waters were healed unto this day, according to the saying of Elisha, which he spake. Verse 23, and he went up from thence unto Bethel, and as he was going up by the way, there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. So they mocking him, they roasting him. You know how shorties be, they come, they saying go up thou bald head, go up thou bald head. But in today's time they be, boy, your bald headed ass, your ugly ass, whoa, they get to roasting them like that, flaming them. So this is what they were saying. This is our people. This is how we know this is our people. When have you heard a so-called white person, say anything like that? White children don't even act like that. It's our people that do these type of things, right? It says, they said, go up thou bald head, go up thou bald head, right? And he turned back and looked on them and cursed them in the name of Yahweh. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the woods and tear 42 children up. So two bears, after he cursed them for roasting them and all that, 2 bears came out of the woods and killed 42 of them kids. So the Lord don't play with these children. It's saying, what is that? 2 Chronicles. Let me see if I can pull that real quick. The Most High don't play with these children, especially when it comes to, his servants, the prophets, and all of that. It been times where shorties come up, they mocking us while we holding camp. They tell us to, STFU. They tell us to, gone somewhere we broke. Ooh. The shorties be talking crazy out there. Well,
you know what? Somebody may take that situation and ask, theoretically, what did the kids do wrong? Right? That'll be a question. So you're supposed to honor your father, honor your mother, fear your father and fear your mother. You're also supposed to honor the old man. Right? But our people don't know that. They just know the commandments on the surface level. So you go to
Right.
Leviticus 19:32, thou shalt not rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man and fear thy God. I am the Lord. Right? I believe scholars pose that Elijah was around 50 to 70 in that passage. So they were breaking the commandments, even though seemingly it's what we do. I might fuck around with my brother, make fun of him and shit like that. That wouldn't be the same situation that this is, because you have Leviticus 19, which is a prohibition of doing this. Little kids and shit, that's how, and the young niggas make fun of each other. That's how niggas get down. The older people, you'll more so see them abstaining from that foolery. That's some young nigga shit, right?
Right.
And it's dishonoring them.
This the book of Second Chronicles chapter 15 and verse 13. Right? It says, I'm gonna start at verse 12. It says, and they entered into a covenant to seek the Lord Yahweh, power of their fathers, with all their heart and with all their soul, that whosoever would not seek the Lord God of Israel should be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman. So it says whether they small or great. That's talking about the children, right? Whether they young or old, right? Whether they a man or a woman. If you're not seeking the Lord God of Israel, right, especially in these last days, if you're an Israelite, right, ultimately you're gonna be marked for death. You know, unless the Lord got some type of exemption over you, right? It's another one. Let me grab one more. It's Ezekiel 9 and 4. Right. Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4 says, and Yahweh said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. And we are people before we are city. So when the Lord says, most of the time when the Lord says go through Jerusalem, he's talking about the people, right? And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? Men like us, we sighing and crying, right? Men like us, we trying to point our people in the right direction instead of steering them the wrong way. We them type of big homies that, you know, if we see children like this, we tell them like, y'all got to do right. Y'all got to take this life shit serious, because, you know, the Most High ain't playing out here, you know, and neither is our oppressors playing, right? So we the type of big homies that the shorties need, but, you know, the ones that they got is sending them up the road, sending them down the street, you know, putting drugs and poles in their hands or whatever, allowing them to, you know, do folly and mischief and things like that, and promoting that on a mainstream basis instead of promoting, you know, what's righteous on a mainstream basis. Right? It says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. And because we tired of seeing our people in this estate that we've been in for these past 500 years, right? It says, and to the others, he said in my hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite. Let not your eye spare, neither have ye pity. Slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women, right? We don't wish this upon our people, but we know that a vast majority of them, when they hear this truth, they not gonna repent, right? And this is gonna be the outcome of them, you know, forbearing to repent, as it says in 2 Esdras 9 and 11. They that have loathed my law while they still had yet liberty, and place of repentance was open to them, they understood it not, but despised it, meaning they chose not this truth, right? The same must know it after death by pain, right? So it says, but come not near any man upon whom is the mark, and begin at my sanctuary. Then they begin at the ancient man which were before the house. So that mark is a mark of exemption, right, from the Most High. You know that you're not going to receive that death or that pain and that trial and tribulation that's to come upon our people. Brother, got anything else?
No, I'm getting some.
Okay, come on. I was gonna say we could pop over to
But even going into Ezekiel 9, what you were just reading. Prior to that, in Ezekiel 8, they were crying for all the abominations that were done in the temple because they were worshiping idols. And Tammuz was said to be among one of those idols, right? Tammuz, that's going into Ishtar, right? Because Tammuz comes from Ishtar. They're about to celebrate goddamn Easter. That's going into the same theology, right? So rather than celebrating Easter, those being spoken about in Ezekiel 9 are those crying for the wickedness of shit like Easter and this paganism that our people are indulging in.
Right, we out there crying for everything that our people is doing. Right, everything that they doing. Like the Lord says, what is that? Cry loud, spare not. Right, so we out there crying loud. You know, every time we out there on them corners, we bringing it out, showing our people everything that they doing wrong, showing our people all their transgressions, right? Showing our people all the abominations that they doing, right? We point it out, pointing the finger because, let me grab this in Proverbs real quick. What's that? Proverbs 30:12. Because this generation think that they can do no wrong, no matter what the men do, what the women do, what the shorties do. They think they can do no wrong, right? And this right here, this is it right here. This Proverbs 30, and I'm gonna start at verse 11. It says, "There is a generation that curseth their father, and doth not bless their mother." What's this generation? That's these shorties. They cursing their father and not blessing their mother, right? They parents probably gave them a curfew or whatever. If they do got good parents, some of them got parents. Their parents don't even give a damn about them. Don't care where they at, what they doing, or who they with. You know, but the ones that do got good parents that's just out there just disobeying their parents' word or disobeying their grandparents' word, right? That's this generation. They cursing their father and their mother. They cursing their guardians. They cursing the leadership that's over them, right? It says there's a generation that are pure in their own eyes. They believe that they can do no wrong. Like it's saying, what's that? The book of Judges, I believe that's 19 and verse 6, right? In those days, there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which is right in his own eyes. We have a king, Yahushua, but he hasn't made his return yet. So what is people doing? Everybody is doing which is right in their own eyes, right? They don't really care. If it's right in my eyes, then they go see it fit to do so. And it might be wrong to another person, but as long as it's right in their eyes, right? This is called being pure in your own eyes. But it says what? And it's not yet washed from their filthiness, right? So these people are filthy, but in their eyes they pure. You looking at yourself in the mirror, you seeing a white garment on. You seeing purity. But other people, what it say, the natural man can discern the things that are spiritual. But the spiritual man, he that is spiritual, judge of all things in 1 Corinthians 2 and 15. Right? So us with the spiritual, I be looking upon our people. And they think they pure, they think they could do no wrong. But we seeing the filthiness upon them. And all of us are like that. The Lord said in Isaiah said, all our righteousness is as of a filthy rag.
Right.
So we're filthy people. A lot of us, we haven't repented yet. A lot of our people in the world, they filthy as hell. They doing God knows what. Right? Let me keep going. It says, there is a generation. Oh, how lofty are their eyes, and their eyelids are lifted up. Right? That's this generation right now. Right? We lofty. We hold ourselves to a higher state. But really, the way we govern ourselves, not according to the Lord's commandments, we not shit. If we ain't keeping God's commandments, we dead men walking. As it says, we in the congregation of the dead, but we pure in our own eyes. That's a fucked up mentality to have. So lucky. All right, let's go to the. You had a precept because I was gonna bounce over to the other you did. Because we already been going for 50 minutes and we still on the YNs.
Yeah, I can say that for later though.
All right, you can still see the screen?
Nah, I can't see it all. I better tell you.
All right, hold on. All right, so the next up on the list, it says Bulls wave guard Jaden Ivey after anti-pride remarks. Right. So it said this article was updated on March 30th by Joe Cowley. Right. This is on Chicago Sun-Times. Right. So this brother, I believe he was live on. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
I believe he was live on Instagram or something like that. Probably on his social media, some social media. He was live, basically just going in on how the NBA, want you to promote all these things, and basically he was going into how these things that they want you to promote is unrighteous or unrighteousness, right? So he's a diehard Christian, right? And you got a lot of diehard Christians, and though they may not have the proper understanding, on things biblically like the law and the
Actually, he
the
said he just
prophecies.
became a Christian.
You said what?
He said he just became a Christian.
He just became a Christian?
Yeah.
Come on. Imagine. I wonder what he probably seen that made him want to become so Christian. Like that movie. What they had that movie, Him, and all the things like when you get up there in that life in that spotlight,
Yeah.
and they got, all the work, all the basically demonic activity that be going on and all that, the ritualistic things. That's probably made him want to become a Christian. Once you finally get up there in that spotlight in that limelight.
I don't even think he said it like that as a Christian. He just said the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He said he started learning about the truth. So I don't know if I
Oh, you
don't.
think he coming into the truth?
No, I don't recall him saying nothing about saying he was a Christian. He just said he started learning about the truth. He said he was into.
Oh, okay. Because
He
I know
said he was.
I believe they say he called out Stephen Curry. Called out
Yeah, he
Stephen Curry.
said.
Was like he ain't no real Christian or something like that.
Yeah.
He said.
He said he be cursing and shit. He be cursing and shit. He ain't no real Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was saying he was drinking a lot,
Mm-hmm.
into porn and all that, and then he said. Then he said he converted somehow.
Come on. Let's get into the article. Say San Antonio. The Bulls wanted to see more from guard Jaden Ivey than the 4 games he played for them before his knee issues became a concern and he was shut down. As of Monday, however, they didn't have to see anything from him any longer. The Bulls announced they had waived Ivy. Salaki. The Bulls announced they had waived Ivy for conduct detrimental to the team after he went on social media and ranted about the LGBTQ movement, saying the world proclaims LGBTQ, right? They proclaim Pride Month, and the NBA does too. They show it to the world. They say, "Come join us for Pride Month to celebrate unrighteousness." Right? And he basically called that out, and they do that. They got the what they do, the Pride Day, the Pride Month, and all that. They what is it called? I think the NFL do it too. They're like the NFL stands with Pride Month, and I believe last season you had Mike Tomlin. He decided not to participate in it or something like that, and they was trying to give him some type of backlash, and that's probably why he retired this year. They probably forced him to retire. Y'all brothers remember that? The coach for the Steelers.
Coach for the Steelers. I don't remember that.
He the coach for the Steelers, Mike Tomlin. Let me see if I can find the article.
Yeah, this is going into the wind up Babylon, man. That doctrine. I'm at the
See if I
dispensary
can
the other
find this
day.
real quick.
They got a prize sticker right at the register. When no dude wasn't looking, that motherfucker peeled that shit off. They got that shit everywhere.
All right, come on. Let's let me see. Let me share the screen. Okay, come on. I'm pull that up. Okay, so it says. See if I can find an article on this. It says Steelers coach Mike Tomlin directed team not to participate in Pride Month. Right? They said this was a claim that went viral on X. They trying to say that it wasn't real, but this was real. It's where Pittsburgh Steelers coach Mike Tomlin announced at June 2024 news conference that he had directed the team not to participate in Pride Month festivities, calling it woke crap. Right? So Mike Tomlin, he did the same thing, and then all of a sudden, he retiring this year. Right? That, it kind of make you think like maybe they forced him to sit down after he made these remarks. Because these people, once you go against their agenda, it's like they and you not walking with their program, they're gonna try to get rid of you some way somehow, right? Because
Yeah, yeah.
they want to promote what they want to promote on a mass scale, and they need everybody on board for it, so the masses can feed into it. It's the same thing that Nebuchadnezzar did when he raised up that statue in Daniel the third chapter, right? Who did he go and grab? He went and grabbed the officers, the princes, right? The all the important delegates, all the judges, all the people that were important that held some type of high stature, right? In that time, he went and got them and said, "Listen, when y'all hear this music, all types of music play, y'all turn around, face the statue, and y'all bow down to it, right?" So it's a reason why he went and got those people first, right? Because those are the people that held high rank, high regard amongst all the common folk. So once they see those people doing it, the common folk are going to start doing it, right? Same thing when the jab came out, right? They had all these people that we hold to a high regard to try to promote that and pass it along and tell our people that it's safe to do, it's safe to take, and to basically push it amongst our people to basically get them to accept it and take it. They gonna do the same thing when the mark of the beast come out. They gonna try to get people that we hold to a high regard to take that. But this the article that the brother Ron sent me. Hold on. Share my screen real quick. Yeah, what I can do it. There you go. Slide, hold on. Let me make sure the audio playing. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
I just wanted to
It's straight.
just kind of
Y'all hear it?
Yeah, yeah.
first I just want to say that Jesus is the way, the truth, the life, and to any of the world that's hearing this message, the kingdom of heaven is near. Jesus is coming back, and we all have to repent for our sins, and we have to put our faith in Jesus. He will come back when you least expect it, and it's time to wake up if you haven't put your faith in Jesus Christ.
So that's when he was coming into the truth, right? I mean, not into the truth, but coming into being, well, basically waking up, right? Aharon,
Con.
come.
What's going on there, guys? Back with another one. I want to talk about
So, like,
NBA
let me see
player
about that.
Jaden Ivey.
I want to see that nigga talking shit. That's what I'm waiting for.
Let me see this.
And LGBTQ.
See if I go back a little bit.
The word
And his mother coached
make
the
statement.
coach game.
He said his what?
His mom the coach and
The world can proclaim unrighteousness. That the world can proclaim LGBTQ. Right? They proclaim Pride Month in the NBA. They proclaim it. They show it to the world. They say, come join us for Pride Month, to celebrate unrighteousness. They proclaim it.
It's something that he's saying that I want to, key in on. He's saying the world, right? This what's that? First John 2:15. This First John 2:15. It says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." So Jaden Ivey, he's saying basically, the world want us to come and proclaim unrighteousness. And he brought up the Pride Month and the LGBT and all that. And it's just not even that. It's a whole lot of things that the world wants you to proclaim. The world wants you to proclaim adultery. The world wants you to proclaim, drug dealing and things like that. And unaliving your own people. The world wants you to proclaim that. Right? But it says if you proclaim those things, and if you're a lover of the world, it says the love of the Father is not in you. It says, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but of the world. Right? So this brother, he actively, decided to campaign against that, and which ain't nothing wrong with. We've been doing that on these corners, for the longest. And I know we get hyped when celebrities wake up and all that, but most of the times we don't even really see celebrities stand their ground like this. But they did the same thing. They blackballed Colin Kaepernick when he was speaking about how these white cops is unaliving us at a massive rate, and he wanted to kneel during the national anthem, saying we ain't got nothing to stand for, during this national anthem, because this country ain't really for us. And they blackballed him out the NFL. He can't get no more ad money. Remember, before that, Colin Kaepernick had all them advertisements. That one where he was on the bus with the headphones and they playing the music with the beats, and then he had the Nike deal and all that. He ain't got none of that no more. He went against all of that because he lost all of that because he decided to stand up for what's right.
Yeah, you know what? America is real big on. Damn, I can't even talk. Damn, I got an echo.
It got an echo.
So like, hold on, let me just unshare the screen. So go ahead. Go ahead.
I about to say America is real big on population control, and you even see that in the way that they're trying to hide the war news from America. If you go to Iran or Israel, the war news is prevalent, right? You even seeing the shit going around you. But as far as what's going on in America, they try to hide it, even to the extent if something big happens in Iran, you're not even gonna see it trending on Twitter anymore. That happened within like the last week, right? So they try to incentivize the people to have a certain mindset, right? That's going into population control.
God. And so like, shalom to everybody in the comments following along with us. We see y'all comments. All praise to the Most High. To those of y'all that are keeping a Shabbat tonight, you know, Shabbat shalom to y'all. You know, all praise to the Most High. Right. What we was going into? What you were just saying, Salakia, King.
I got a precept.
Go ahead.
It's Revelations 18 and verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. Okay, basically the point is the wrath of her fornication and drinking the wine, right? That's what America propagates, right? And that's even going into that mindset. They're trying to promote the LGBT community, even within the children, TV shows, etc., school.
They trying to push that upon our minds. Let me get this in 1 Corinthians.
I got another precept.
Yes, hold on, let me grab this real quick. This 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and verse 33. It says, "Be not deceived. Evil communications corrupt good manners." Right? So evil communications, the things that, like it says in Job, I believe that's 34 and 3, the ear try of words as the mouth taste of meat. So the things that you put into your ears, right, and into your eyes, your brain digests that. The same way you eat food, your body digests it, right? Your brain digests what you put in your ears and in your eyes. Right? So these evil communications, the things that we watch on TV, on mainstream, right? What we saw on what we see on BET, what we see on MTV, what we see on YouTube, what we hear on the radio, what we hear on our MP3 players or whatever, if them still exist. You know, what we see on World Star and Media Takeout and Shade Room and all of that. You know, what we see on these things, right? If you're not spiritually girded up, if you're not built up, if you don't got no hedge around you, right? These evil communications is gonna corrupt your good manners, right? That's why the Lord had to take what was his name? What was his name? Enoch. That's why the Lord had to take Enoch. It say that in Wisdom of Solomon, right? And if it wasn't like, that's why I say that these things could even if it could, they could confuse the very elect, deceive the very elect, right? But the elect, the Lord got that mark of exemption on us that these things, like when we see it with a spiritual eye. But let me see, let me grab this in Wisdom of Solomon. Speaking of Enoch real quick, then I'm gonna pass it. This Wisdom of Solomon chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 10. It says, "He pleased God and was beloved of him, so that living among sinners he was translated." Let's talk about Enoch, because he was taken, like Enoch and Elijah, they were both translated. They were both taken up by chariot. It says, verse 11, "Yes, speedily was he taken away, lest that wickedness should alter his understanding." Because it was nothing but wickedness going on in that time. That was in the same time as Noah, or a little bit before Noah, right? Around that same time, the Lord said the earth was corrupt. Every thought of man was to do evil, right? every thought of man was to do evil. It was nothing but wickedness going on in the earth. And we see that same time today. That's why Yahweh Shah said, as in the days of Noah, so shall it also be in the days of Son of Man. Right? So the earth is corrupt in that same way. It's wickedness going around. It's wickedness propagated and being promoted on a massive live mainstream level. Right? So we're gonna have to speedily be taken away, lest the way of wickedness alter our understanding. Because it could easily happen if you're not praying, fasting, keeping the Lord's commandments, all of these things. If you're not diligently seeking the Most High, asking for that covering over you, then the way of wickedness could easily alter your understanding. And before you know it, you back in the world. Before you know it, you walking in the ways of death. Right? It says, or deceit beguile his soul. Right? It says, for the bewitching of naughtiness does obscure things that are honest. So naughtiness can bewitch you, and it could alter your mind. It could ruin your understanding on things and corrupt you and make you into something that you're not. That's why brothers that what is it called? They said brothers that never really gang banged in their life or whatever, or never really got into those things, was never doing that. Once that drill scene hit and they saw that all the girls was flocking to that, to the brothers that was in that drill life or whatever, or all the attention was on that, brothers started altering themselves to be like that. And all these brothers, Keith drunk, he got the locks and all that. All the brothers getting locks. All the brothers is throwing up the Y in their pictures, throwing up some type of gang sign, doing whatever, dressing this way, dressing that way. Brothers is altering themselves to be like that, right? Because why? It says and not saying that those things is naughty, but it just shows how a wave can come and they can alter a lot of people's understanding to join that wave, right? But it says the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest, and the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind, right? So if you simple minded out here, right, you can easily be overthrown. That's why I say, lest we no more be as children, tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine, right? And by after the rudiments of the world, to beware lest any man spoil you. Right, you got a lot of precepts that's speaking about that, because a lot of our people are simple-minded and get overthrown by things that are pushed into the media to the masses.
Right. So we need to understand how vulnerable our spirits are, even the strongest of men. When you're placed around a certain environment, it's only so long until you start to assimilate, even subconsciously, to the mannerisms of the people around you. That's why certain cities like Birmingham, Memphis, Chicago, you have a spirit that governs the city, right? Mm-hmm. Cities like Birmingham, you have a spirit of death, because that's the mindset of the people. If you're around the people, then you're around the spirits, right? A good banana can only be a good banana if it's not around bad bananas, right? But if you turn left and right and there's only bad bananas, you may have to isolate yourself. It's a simple math equation. It's not rocket science, right? To not be of the world, especially when you're in a weakened state and you're trying to transition into the truth, you're not strong, right? If I'm around my friends that are smoking every day and I'm trying to not smoke and I don't change my environment, guess what I'm going to do tomorrow? Tonight I'm going to say I ain't going to smoke, but tomorrow I'm going to smoke. Right. You got to be prudent minded to protect your spirit because of how vulnerable our spirits are. Like I said, even the strongest of men. You got Solomon. What was his surroundings? He had all them bitches and shit that are endowed in paganism, and he started to assimilate to that mannerism.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Simple math equation.
Exactly. That's right.
I had a precept.
You said what?
This is Isaiah 47. Isaiah 47 and verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me. The point I'm honing down on, it said, thy wisdom perverted thee. Right? The things that our people think that they know, the things that are held to a high esteem, are the things that will pervert us. Being that these things are held to a high esteem, the people around you are going to draw to that, right? And be assimilated to that. Separation.
I got one last precept on this matter. This is John 15 and 19. I'm gonna start at 18. It says, if the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. Right? So when we proclaim these things, right, when we proclaim righteousness and stand for it, right, the world is gonna hate us. We ultimately going against the grain, right? The rest of our people, they going with the grain. They don't speak up. Even if you don't speak up on these things, you going with the grain because you're not standing up against it, right? The Lord said in Psalms 94:16, who gonna rise up for me against the evildoers? The Lord want people to rise up against it. The Lord don't want the man or the woman that's just go, look at it and just pass by and just let it continue to go on. The Lord wants the people to speak out about this. It says, if you were of the world will love his own. But because ye are not of the world, it says, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Right? So the world hate us because we was chosen out of the world. We speak about, the things that are contrary to God's laws, right? That are contrary to righteousness. And we point it out and we shake the hand at it, and the world hate us for that. They tell us to mind our business. They tell us people can make their own decisions and live how they want to live. They tell us not to judge. All of that. They say only God can judge me or whatever, which ain't even in the Bible, right? This I'm gonna keep going. It says, remember the word that I said unto you. The servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. Right? So this brother, he feeling persecution right now. Kyrie Irving, he felt persecution when he shared something about the truth. All of us, we felt persecution. When we came into this truth, our families, they may or may not have accepted it. They kind of, black sheeped us a little bit when we came into the truth. Right? It says, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. Right? So it said, no servant is greater than his Lord. Yahushua had to go through these things. Hey, his servants, us as his servants, we got to go through them as well. So let me see. I click off of that. All right, so we go get into the where we at? We an hour in, hour 20 minutes in. Okay. Which one y'all want to go into next?
Let's hit that Passover link that I sent you.
Passover one?
Yeah.
All right, let me find out.
Listening to it, it seems like a spiritual
There you go, right there.
message as if it's meant for these times. We know Passover just passed by, but play that.
Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Let me check.
While people are watching this video,
I
want you to have on your mind, if a prophecy fits, word, right? So we know there are going to be signs in the stars, sign in the moon. Behind Trump, you're going to see a flag with stars, right? You're going to see him exalting himself as an eagle with the eagle behind him, as well as the stars being on the flag and shit like that, right? So we're going to parallel that with the prophecy that we see. Go ahead and play that though.
Jewish American community and to Jews, to our wonderful Jewish American community and to Jews celebrating in Israel and around the world this week, I want to wish you a very happy Passover. Over 3,000 years ago, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob delivered the ancient Israelites out of slavery and brought them into the promised land. It was an amazing period of time, just like today we have an amazing period of time. The journey started with faith in God's word, and it ended with a miraculous march through the Red Sea and an astounding exodus out of Egypt. The world has never been the same. This week we recall this ancient proof of God's faithfulness and are reminded that with true faith, eternal hope, and the power of prayer, nothing can stop the people of God. As Jewish families and loved ones gather together for Seder dinner, we ask that God will continue to watch over the Jewish people and that he may continue to preserve and protect the United States of America for generations to come. Our country is doing better than it has ever done. I am very happy to report. Happy Passover.
Yeah, so he's speaking on the story of it got an echo. Yeah, so it's speaking on the story of the Passover, which we know is how the Israelites got delivered from ancient Egypt, right? So I'm just relating that to the time because the things that we're seeing in prophecy are prevalent and even present, like the things that come to pass. When you go to, let's see, and just like in ancient Egypt, they refused to let the Israelites go. Mystery Babylon is said to do the same thing, right? So Jeremiah 50, verse 33, thus said the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. That's talking about America, Mystery Babylon. Their Redeemer is strong, that's Christ. The Lord of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Right, so in verse 33 it said they refused to let them go. So we're basically going through the same pattern of ancient Egypt, right? Which Trump was just speaking on. So even though he's speaking directly to the Jewish people, relate that to as if he was speaking to us, because we know that we're in a very spiritual time. Like I was going into, the prophecy says in Luke 21, there are going to be signs in the stars, right? Apply something where you see fit. Right behind Trump, there's motherfucking stars, man. Feel what I'm saying? Just take it as a sign.
And Trump got a forked tongue too, man. You can't believe nothing he say. He don't mean none of that. You know what I'm saying? He don't mean none of that.
I was thinking too, you know the false prophet in Revelation. I think that's Trump, nigga.
And that with that video, right, with him speaking about that, you know, he ran by the small hats, you know, by the so-called Jewish man. He ran by them. So that just goes to show why, you know, the next topic that we gonna go into with how the United Nations all came together to vote and agree how that the greatest atrocity or greatest crime against humanity was, you know, the transatlantic slave trade, but America chose not to recognize it as that. America voted no. Why? Because America is ran by the small hats. They want that Holocaust to be, you know, the greatest crime against humanity, but that wasn't though. You know, the greatest crime against humanity was what they did to our people, right? Was what happened to the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? Brother said it's like he was forced to read that out loud. It did seem like that.
Yeah,
it did seem like that. He was reading from what's that called? A teleprompter.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It seemed like he got them.
Yeah, he was reading it off a teleprompter or whatever. Right, that's exactly what he was doing. He was squinting his eyes, trying to see, kind of turning his head. He couldn't really tell, right? But this is just like, right? They don't want to recognize the things that they doing to us or the things that they have done to us. This the same, predicament that when the Lord told Moses to go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go, they don't want to let us go. Because the UN is basically saying that, these people that y'all did this to, they deserve some type of reparations. That's what the voting was about. But Trump and American legislation, they voted against that, saying, nah, we not giving them nothing. This is basically them saying, I'm not letting the children of Israel go. Because we the true children of Israel. They don't want to let us go. They don't want to acknowledge what they did to us. They don't want to have no type of remorse or no type of accountability for the situation that they put us in, and for the detrimental atrocities that they put upon us or put us through. They don't want to have no accountability for that. But instead, they still give they still send, what is it, like 8 billion to Israel every year, something like that. They send like 8 billion to Israel every year, but we don't get nothing. We ain't seen a damn thing. The Asians, they had got their Asian hate crime bill before we could even get anything. They got that in like under a year of them fighting for it. And we ain't got nothing like that for real. That's why I say, let me grab this. In Jeremiah 50 and 33. This Jeremiah 50 and 33, and it's so fitting. It said, 33. It says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Right? They refusing to let us go. They refusing to even acknowledge what they did to us. Right?
Read 29.
I got you. Verse 29, it says, call together the archers against Babylon, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about, let none thereof escape. So like it, recompense her according to her work, according to all that she have done, do unto her, for she have been proud against the Lord. Against the Holy One of Israel.
Well, right is that pride.
Right, the pride of Babylon. So we low-key just kind of killed two birds with one stone a little bit.
Yeah, you see Trump having a lot of pride even in the way he speaks. He'll say things that aren't even necessarily true, like the Iranians are running out of missiles, justifying what he's doing, the decisions he's making. But the Iranians respond to that like, we don't even know what the fuck this motherfucker talking about. How would they even know how many missiles we have? That's how Iran is responding, but Trump speaks out of pride. That's prophetic.
Check this out. Hold on. Let me read this real quick before we move on to the next. Cause we just kind of put these together with that and this. Right. So this from the article, the BBC. Right. UN votes to recognize enslavement of Africans as greatest crime against humanity. Right. So peep this little part right here. It says, the resolution proposed by Ghana. Right. So Ghana proposed this. Remember a few years ago, I believe the Ghanaian president, he came out and acknowledged, like, basically said sorry for what, for the Africans that sold our people into slavery. He basically apologized for that. Right. So I don't know if this the same man that proposed this designation, but it says call for this designation while also urging UN member states to consider apologizing for the slave trade and contributing to a reparations fund. It does not mention a specific amount of money. The proposal was adopted with 123 votes in favor. I mean, 123 people, 23 countries was like, okay, yeah, we agree. It says, and 3 against: the United States, Israel, and Argentina. Right? So the United States voted against it. Israel voted against it, the small hats. And United States is ran by the small hats. Right? And then you got Argentina. And I would bet that the leader of Argentina is probably a small hat. I would go out on the limb and just say that it is.
I think they have
But
a large population of heathens.
you said what up?
I think Argentina has a large population of heathens.
Yeah, yeah, they do. I believe they do. I remember reading something like that, and it just kind of like it just kind of goes to show that these people, right? They want to be the victims of the world. Y'all not the victims of the world. Y'all are the perpetrators. Y'all are the predators, right? It's common knowledge that the slave ships, were funded by, small hats, Jewish people, right? Those slave ships were pulling up where? To the United States, right? And like the brother just said, it's in the history, they got a lot of small hats in their population down there in Argentina, right? So yeah, it just goes to show like the world is against us. And this just shows that Salakia, that what is that in Psalms 83? How all the nations that came together to basically remove the children of Israel out of her place or whatever. All the nations that came together in the coalition. Who was the first nation that it named? It says the Tabernacle of Esau, right? And then it said the Ishmaelites, I believe. Right, so you have the Tabernacles of Eden. So they was the main perpetrators in the downfall of our nation, and they still the main perpetrators in not wanting to recognize the atrocities that was done to us.
Yeah,
You had
Yeah,
prison.
so Salaki, I just looked it up. The president from Argentina, uh, he has it say he's Argentina president Javier Milei is of Italian and Croatian descent with strong roots from southern Italy, born in Buenos Aires to Norberto Mali and
Mhm.
Alicia Lucius. He has 3 Italian grandparents and has recently been granted Italian citizenship based on his ancestry. He has also disclosed Jewish maternal ancestry.
See, you can't make this up. We can't make it up.
Right. His grandmother. I mean his grandfather.
Right. And who are the Italians? Those was the Romans. They was against us. Right. And then he got Jewish ancestry as well. So it's all his whole ancestry was against us. You
yeah.
got Amalek and the Romans. So go ahead, Kapad. I know you had something.
I better say you'll see how these nations don't even want to acknowledge their iniquity. But the first step to repentance is acknowledgement. When you go to Revelations 2 and verse 21, it says, "And I gave her space to repent of her fornication, and she repented not." You can see how signing that agreement is likened unto space to repent, but they don't even want to acknowledge, right? In Jeremiah, 18, it says, "If that whole nation repent," but they don't even want to acknowledge. That's why this judgment has to come.
Right. That's why that judgment got to come, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. All right, so we killed two birds with one stone with that one, man. Let's go to this. Let's get into these final. Unless y'all want to go into Pooh Shiesty. Let's go into Pooh Shiesty real quick. Now, matter of fact, we're gonna stay on the road. We're gonna stay on the road with Babylon real quick, and then we're gonna go into. And then we're gonna go into Pooh Shiesty. We're gonna end it off with that.
Yeah, what we finna go into?
Let me see. Let's go into how these soldiers is trying to fail the drug test on purpose. Right. So you got American soldiers. They trying to fail these drug tests because Trump caught an order for a ground invasion in Iran. Y'all see the screen, right?
Yeah.
So Trump called an order for a ground invasion in Iran, which means the war is escalating.
I got a preset for refusing to fight.
Right. Ultimately, the war is escalating. But they calling this the weed walkout. Right? The weed walkout is a silent protest crippling U.S. military readiness. Right? Rumors of a silent protest through marijuana use raise questions about military discipline and morale. Right? So their morale is going down. And the drugs in the military ain't no new thing. I don't know why they making this a big deal, because over there when they was in Vietnam, all them soldiers that was coming back, they was coming back hyped up.
I think they
They was coming
removed
back hyped up because all they was doing over there was doing drugs.
they removed the prohibition of weed, if I'm not mistaken.
You said what, King? I couldn't hear
They
you.
removed the prohibition of weed after this whole thing came out. So they can't even smoke to not get drafted anymore or not get sent.
So they changed the law.
Yeah.
It say unverified claims that U.S. troops are deliberately smoking marijuana to fail drug tests and avoid deployment. And President Trump's wars began circulating widely on social media in mid-March 2026. Amid escalating tensions with Iran, dubbed the silent protests by anonymous posters, the rumors have prompted questions about military discipline, as the Pentagon stays silent on any uptick in positives, right? So the soldiers, they was trying to protest, right, by failing a drug test so they won't get sent over there. You know, because they don't want to fight this war in Iran. They know it's a bullshit war. And a lot of them, they probably know that if they get sent over there, they never coming back. You know, they never coming back. Over there, that war is going to escalate. It's going to spread into Israel. And we know that over there in that area is the Valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's decision. Yahweh Shaphat in the Hebrew. Right? And that's all the soldiers over there, they ain't coming back. They gonna get destroyed. Right? So these people, the mighty soldiers of Babylon, they losing their morale. They don't have that patriotic belief anymore. They don't have them standpoints of putting the country first and the interests of the country. They don't have that no more. Right? Brother's got a precept. I know you hold it.
Yeah, you know, adding on to that, the Iranians even threatened to burn the U.S. troops. So all of this is going into putting fear into the U.S. Army. So that'll lead us into the domino effect of this prophecy right here. So you go to Jeremiah 51 and verse 30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might had failed. They became as women. They have burnt their dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Just like I was paraphrasing, the Iranians threatened to burn the U.S. troops. If you could find an article on that, I want you to get that. Iranians threatened to burn U.S. troops. I'm going to read this one more time. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might hath failed. They became as women. They have burned their dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. Right? So all of this news of the downfall of America and the troops is gonna get back to Trump. So Iran threatens. Okay, you can read that.
All right, it says this from CNN World News. It says Iran threatens to rain fire on U.S. troops as possible ground war looms. It says this is written on March 29th. So I can move this out the way. It says Doha, Qatar. It says in a message marking 30 days since the start of the Iran war, a senior Iranian official is spelling out what ordinary people across the tense Gulf and beyond privately fear will be Washington's next move. The enemy signals negotiation in public, while in secret it plots a ground attack. Right, and that's the piece of Salakia. I gotta go to the Apocrypha for it. Papa, can you pull for me Psalms 55 and 21? I'm gonna grab this other one in the Apocrypha.
This is Psalms 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His
right,
words
so it said
were
the words of his mouth was smoother than butter. He talking smooth talk. He talking peace talk. Right? What is butter? Butter is soft. Right? So you talking peace talk, you talking softly to the enemy, right? But ultimately war is in his heart. That's what Iran, they basically saying they know better than that. Right? So like, where is that? Just that, there you go. They're saying they know better than that. It says the enemy signals negotiation in public. Right? That's Trump. He's telling me, yeah, big talks are going on. We're gonna make a deal. We're gonna get the Strait of Hormuz back open, and all of that. It says while in secret it plots a ground attack. So Iran, they not dumb. They know America is a fork tongue beast, especially that Trump. It's a fork tongue beast. It says reads the statement from Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, right? So it said the words of his mouth was smoother than butter. It was more on that, right?
You asking me?
Yeah, kind of. Was it more on that?
Without just reading. That's basically the synopsis. You also have in the prior. Let me see. This is Jeremiah 50. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. This is going into the troops of Mystery Babylon. Right. So all over the prophecies, we're seeing the conditions of the U.S. Army, even going into Second Esdras, where it speaks about the young men dying, bringing the necessity of 7 women needing to be joined to one man, because there's going to be a lack of men, because they're going to be sent off drafted to the war.
And this is Iraq 12 and 16. It says an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. So they know that. He trying to speak sweetly with his lips. He trying to get them sweet talk. He trying to basically make a deal with them. Behold, he plotting a ground invasion. He plotting a ground invasion to go, do the same. He wanted to do the same thing to them what he did to Venezuela, basically. It says, but in his heart, he imagined of how to throw thee into a pit. It says he will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Right? So when he find the opportunity, right, he still gonna strike you. You can't trust him. This man is a snake. America is a snake country. Right? It stems from that dragon. What is a dragon? A dragon is a serpent. Right? This place stems from that dragon, that Roman Empire. Right? And the dragon is a serpent. It stems from that. A fork-tongued beast. Right?
I'm about to say, let me finish what I had. You had me pulled. Salaki. Psalms 55:21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Right.
Yet were they drawn swords. Right,
and they keep talking about all these deals and shit. Well, we're close to a deal with Iran, and Iran is disagreeing with that. They don't want no deal.
Right. They don't want no deal. They killed their leader. America killed their leaders. Why enough is enough with them? Why would they want to do any deal with y'all?
Before you forget, we got to play that Lego shit.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we might as well go to that next real quick. Here you go, right here.
Man, that shit cold. Hey, when it gets to the point of where it skips a bunch of frames, you gotta pause it so we can see the message.
All right, good.
Yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Do I need the sound? Do we need the sound?
Not necessarily.
It ain't gonna give us no copyright, is it?
Shit, you never know, shit.
I don't want to get no copyright. I might play it on mute.
The sound not too important. It's just some bullshit music.
You said what?
It's just some bullshit music. The sound not important too much.
Hey, where'd it go? There it go. Alright, kind of. So this is the first video that they dropped, right?
Yeah.
You can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And look, they started off with the Gadite looking up at the sky.
The perspective Iran is taking socially is that they're fighting for the blacks. They're fighting for the Native Americans, etc.
Right. They saying that they getting the get back for us.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily wrong in that case. Because, it's biblical prophecy that these countries are going to come together to destroy the daughter of Babylon. And what is that? What does the Lord say? It is the day of the Lord's vengeance, right? So the Lord uses these other countries to get his vengeance. Where when the Lord wanted to judge Israel, who did he use? He used Nebuchadnezzar. When the Lord wanted to judge Babylon, who did he use? He used Cyrus and Persians and the Medes, right? When the Lord wanted to judge them, who did he use? He used the Greeks. So the Lord judges these nations with other nations. That's how he moves.
And Psalm says the wicked is thy sword.
Right.
As well.
And look, notice every one of these propaganda videos, they got Baal as basically the head of America. Right, with Baal, they associated America with Baal worship. Right, as ancient Babylon was associated with it as well. So it's like these other countries in the East, right, and in the Middle East, they kind of always had that they kind of always kept that understanding of that. It's like they know they kind of know things that were hidden from us over here, until the Lord gave us that understanding. Like these things was kind of like that information was held prevalent over there, and it's kind of like foretelling.
Right. The
Look at
Bible
that.
even speaks about America being the daughter of Babylon.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So you got Babylonian culture
Look at that. Look.
and their message.
Look. The slaves, Native Americans. That's powerful. I ain't even see this one.
Yeah. So when it gets to the point of where it keeps skipping frames and shit, keep pausing it so that we can read what it's saying.
All right, come on. So you got the Gadite, Native American Indian. He pulling up on the horse. Who you looking at? Some Africans. Look. Hair of wool. He got chains on his neck. That's Deuteronomy 28.
Yeah.
Look. Moabites. It's like, yes, damn advertising.
Yeah, you gonna fuck with this part coming up. You gonna fuck with it.
I ain't seen this one. This must be a different one that they had.
Yeah.
As I said, America's gift on his hand. Oh, it's like,
That's what I'm saying. They put so much shit within these frames. You gotta pause to see what's going on.
what's that like? He got a metal hand.
Well,
America's
what you
gift.
think that represents?
I'm trying to think. America's gift. That ain't. I know it ain't going into Operation Midnight Hammer. Was it? Who is these people representing? Right here. I know they showed the Moabites. Let me see. That bomb in the back said "Fat Man," didn't it?
Hiroshima. Yeah, like the Bible says,
They got the fat man and the little boy back there. Nuclear, yeah. So is that Japan? That's Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Those are atomic bombs. Damn, we keep freezing on this. I'm trying to. Abu Ghraib prison. What that's going into? Is that Guantanamo? That ain't Guantanamo Bay, man. What is that? Epstein Island. Malcolm X. If you are neutral in situations of justice, ye have chosen the side of the oppressor.
Gangster.
Oh, bro, they going crazy.
Me.
For the stolen blacks.
Yeah.
See that? They say for the stolen blacks.
Stolen blacks.
They going crazy. Yeah, I ain't even see this one.
Yeah.
For the victims of Iran Air Flight 655 in memory of Rachel Carey's freedom struggle. Who is Rachel Carey? It's like I might be going off asking that. Is that one of our people?
Rachel Carey. Corey. Rachel Corey was an American activist known for her involvement in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. In 2003, she was killed in the Gaza Strip while protesting. Malcolm X way.
Right. For the children, Epstein. They said they finna send them nukes in the air.
Nigga. Y'all fuck with this.
For the stolen black. Yeah, they going crazy.
Yeah, you see the spirit they coming with, man. They want Babylon
Right.
gone.
Right.
Trump talking about the war gonna end in 2-3 weeks, man.
These people, they
taking
ready
this
to
shit the
fight. They
end.
ready to blow it all up.
Yeah, they ready to crash
That
out,
ain't no
man.
2-3 week attitude. Yeah. Netanyahu, Trump.
We ain't heard shit from Netanyahu, huh?
Shit, that man dead.
His
He
head
got
dead smoke. They still ain't admit that shit, man. They so prideful, bro. Come on.
Yeah, yeah. They had to have smoked that man over there, bro. They had to. So like, yeah, let's I'm gonna grab a quick precept. Is that the one? I'm going to Isaiah 34. This is Isaiah chapter 34, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. It says, "All the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll." Talking about the mushroom cloud. We just going over this in class. "And all their hosts shall fall down, as the leaf falleth from off the vine, as a falling from the fig tree." Right, and this links directly up with Revelation 6 and 13. It says, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven." Right, these missiles are the sword of the Lord. Right, as it says in, I believe it's Isaiah 54 and 16. Right, it says, "Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea." What's modern day Edom? Right, Idumea is Edom. Right, but modern day Edom is America, Babylon the Great. "And upon the people of my curse to judgment." Right, it says, "The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea." Right. I'm gonna jump down to verse 8. "For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion." Right. So Iran, they coming out with these videos saying that, they getting this get back for all of these atrocities that have been done, and it just ties directly along with the Lord's vengeance, because the Lord is getting his revenge using these other countries to do so, and ultimately he's also going to send Yahweh Shah back to get the utmost part of that revenge.
All right.
You
Yeah,
have
let me
some?
read it. Yeah, let me read
Go
a
ahead,
precept that just like it was talking about mystery Babylon be likening unto a scroll that's raveling up and dismantling. This is Zechariah 4 and verse 6. "Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel." Now, the word Zerubbabel, or the name Zerubbabel, means descended of Babylon, right? Saying, "Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. Who art thou, O great mountain?" Referring to Babylon. "Before Zerubbabel, thou shalt become a plain." Just like how what priest just read, likening Babylon unto a scroll that's rolling up. It said this great mountain is going to be turned to a plain, right? That's the prophetic imagery of Mystery Babylon America.
Right. That's right. And I'm gonna play this a little more.
Not too.
Say one vengeance for all. Alright, that's it on that. Yeah, that was it on that. Alright. Alright, so What we is going into next? Is that everything? We're going to Pooh Shiesty now. We don't want this to be too long. We can end it right here after we go into this.
Hey, yeah.
Come on. So, last but not least, right? Rapper Pooh Shiesty arrested in Dallas. It said dad also taken into custody. That's crazy work. Right. I think WAC 100 had dropped some information that both of them been some informants or something like that. I don't know. Allegedly.
You talking about Shiesty and his father?
Talk about his father was an informant since 2009.
I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, you gotta WAC 100 had posted that on his social media, saying that he worked out a deal in 2009 to get his sentence reduced. He got to cooperate with the government, giving them pledgeable information. Giving them pledgeable information. You gotta go to it. I'm gonna send it to you after this.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, this the hottest topic of the week right now. What everybody been talking about on Facebook and Instagram. Pooh Shiesty arrested in Dallas, right?
So they say that he had Gucci Mane at gunpoint trying to make him sign a contract to release him from his record label or whatever. That's what they're saying. I don't know. It's a rumor.
Right, allegedly. It's a law enforcement sources tell TMZ the rapper, real name Lontrell D. Williams Jr., was arrested Wednesday and booked in connection to a federal criminal case. And we broke the story. Shiesty's family home was raided by the FBI on Wednesday. Agents executed a search and arrest warrant. We now know it was Pooh Shiesty who was taken into custody. Right. While that was happening, Shiesty's father, Lontrell Williams Sr., was also arrested in Memphis, Tennessee. Officials have not yet revealed the charges against either man. Shiesty only recently got out of federal prison after serving more than 5 years in connection to a 2020 shooting in Florida. The press conference is scheduled for 9 a.m. Pacific time. Pooh's attorney, Bradford Cohen, brother got a Jewish lawyer. Bradford Cohen tells TMZ, "We are currently looking into the charges and allegations against our client, and as soon as we know more, we will a further statement." So they ain't really giving us nothing on this article. Let me see if I can find out real quick. On USA Today, right? It says Gucci Mane allegedly robbed, kidnapped. Gucci Mane allegedly robbed, kidnapped at studio by rapper Pooh Shiesty. The Grammy-nominated rapper was allegedly assaulted by a group of 9 people, including rappers Pooh Shiesty and Big 30. And 30 has retorted too. How you next to get on? You next to get on, and then you was 30 signed attention to the team for a little bit.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't recall him repping that shit.
They say several people have been arrested after rapper Gucci Mane was allegedly robbed and kidnapped at a recording studio in Dallas earlier this year. The Grammys nominated rapper was allegedly kidnapped and robbed at gunpoint by 9 individuals, which included fellow MCs Pooh Shiesty and Big 30. During a business meeting at the studio, Ryan Rayball, U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, announced in press release Thursday, April 2nd. The U.S. Attorney's Office said that 8 of the 9 suspects were arrested on Wednesday, April 1st, across Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. They face up to life in prison if convicted. Aside from Shiesty and Big 30, the other alleged suspects include Lontrell Williams Sr., Kadarius Waters, Terrence Rogers, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, and Darion McDaniel. Rogers has not been arrested yet, according to Dallas ABC affiliate.
I'm trying to find some lyrics.
Right. So allegedly, what I was.
Go ahead.
You said what?
Go ahead. I'm trying to find some.
Okay, kind of. So what I was looking into, I was watching academics break it down earlier. He said that they all went to the studio. Shiesty and them met Gucci at the studio. Gucci was already there. His security was like in the lobby of the studio. Gucci had a cameraman with him as another dude, the studio, equipment operator, technician or whatever. So they go into the room, into the recording room, and basically Gucci and Shiesty was in there talking, and they started getting riled up in there. Like Shiesty was basically asking, he presented the information like, "Hey, release me from this contract or whatever." Woo, woo. They said Gucci refused, and then so, that's when they conversation started getting heated or whatever. And then the man on the outside had texted Gucci security, was like, "Hey, they conversation getting heated in here. I think you probably should step in or whatever." And then so I guess 30 was in the recording room too, along with Shiesty father or whatever. They was all in there with Gucci. And basically, 30 passed, Shiesty the bag or whatever, his bag, and he pulled out, they said allegedly an AK-47 style gun, style pistol, and basically held it to Gucci and made him sign the paperwork. And then Shiesty father said that it got to be dated too or something like that. So yeah, this is all broken down. Academics was breaking it down earlier, going through the court discovery and all that, because I believe that's public information. I don't know how to pull it up, but yeah, these niggas is goofy though. Like you just got out the feds, and you already on your way back to the feds doing goofy dumb shit. Right? You found your precept?
Yeah, I thought I was looking at his lyrics on his song because apparently he had spoken on it, but it ain't too much. He just said, "I signed a deal, then went to jail. They ain't even seen me pop my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just now buying a chain that say my name. I've been bullshitting." But he was just talking about signing the deal. That's all.
Let me go to Proverbs 10. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, and verse 23. It says, "It is a sport to a fool to do mischief, but a man of understanding have wisdom." This is fun to niggas like this. It's fun to a lot of niggas. The YNs, what they was doing out there in Hyde Park, that's fun to them. Because they foolish. Right? Like Kapar, the brother Kapar brought out the priest Kapar brought out the precept where it say our people is foolish. They have no understanding. They sound as children. Right? They wise to do evil. Right? Evil and mischief is one and the same. Right? It says it's sport to a fool to do mischief. It's fun to them. Right? Let's get this in another translation.
I'm interested in what that word for sport is.
It says, let's get it in there. It's going into fun, right? But I don't know what the word is exactly, but I believe it's going into fun. So there's other precepts that say when somebody is doing pranks on somebody and they say, am I not in sport? Meaning, am I not playing, basically, or having
Yeah.
fun? But this is the same verse, Proverbs 10:23 in the NLT. It says, doing wrong is fun for a fool, but living wisely brings pleasure to the sensible. Right? So doing wrong. What's doing wrong with what them niggas just did to Gucci? Gucci put them on. He put them on. He gave them the platform that they had. Before Gucci, I ain't really hear about Shiesty. The brothers, Paul was in the South. You probably heard about the brother. They probably on the brother in the South before I probably heard about him. But before he signed with Gucci, I ain't really hear about him. Then I started looking into him. I was like, okay, this brother decent. But he a fool though. And a lot of our people, they foolish the way they be moving. They say to do evil is like sport to a fool in the New King James Version. But a man of understanding has wisdom. Right?
Being in that position that he's in, even having all that money, he didn't have to do that. like I was going
Right. He
into
didn't have to do that.
there's a smart way to do bullshit. If you were gonna put him at gunpoint and have him sign a deal, couldn't you have paid one of your little niggas 10 bands or some shit to do that shit?
Right.
Feel what I'm saying? Now you locked up again, but you the big man. You supposed to be the nigga that's funding the gang or whatever.
And like
Niggas can't even do the bullshit smart.
it's goofy because like did you really think you was gonna get away with this shit? Like you couldn't have been thinking at all. The nigga couldn't have been thinking. Right? This Proverbs 12:15. It says the way of a fool is right in his own eyes. But in his mind, he had his mind made up that he was gonna go through it like this, he was gonna do it this way, and it was gonna work out for him. It was right in his own eyes. It say, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. These nigga couldn't have had no. Who did he have? He had his pops with him. He had Big 30. You supposed to be able to. Your pops supposed to give you wise counsel as a father. But this nigga pops didn't give him no good counsel. This nigga pops a fool too. A damn dummy. Not the type of counsel that he needed in this situation. The nigga should have went about that totally different, like Kapar said.
That nigga retarded,
Even if he
bro.
still wanted to do the shiesty shit, he could have went about it in a way where he couldn't have got incriminated.
Yeah, dog, like say, bro, I was in jail, right? And I had got out pretty early, but I'm just sitting in the cell for a couple of hours, bro. And being in the cell, however long you in that motherfucker, you're thinking about what you're gonna do when you get up at that bitch. He get up at the cell from being locked up, however long he was locked up, and he's putting himself in a practical situation to where it's very likely that he will get locked back up. Like, nigga, is you good? Do you have a thinking disorder? Like it's not stupid, it's retarded, right? That there's a fine line distinction. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? If you jump off a building, you're not gonna land on your feet and be okay. This is stupid.
Like that was dumb as hell. His name should be Pooh Stupid.
I think Gucci Mane done fuck around, called the police on their ass or something.
I think they said, because Gucci said he'd never do no police shit. But I think they said
But
Gucci,
then,
his main security guard is an off-duty cop. Something like that. He worked for Gucci full time or whatever. But he an off-duty cop. So they say he probably the one that, gave the police the claim and shit like that. Well, but Gucci said himself that he'd never do some police shit. But then again, you never know.
I heard him say that. Then I heard something.
This Gucci ain't the old Gucci. Said what?
I heard him say that, but then I heard something contrary saying that he made a statement or some bullshit.
Yeah, like
niggas ain't gonna
or
come out
something
of
like
that,
that,
make
right?
a statement and tell niggas that made a statement. You feel?
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna read this one more time. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. Right. So you need in everything you do, you need counsel. So like what she's saying. Oh, we got the Bella Mama Wall in here. How long you been backstage? I heard.
Man, a long time.
No, Salakia, you should have said something.
Shalom,
Shalom, Mother
shalom.
Weezy.
Shalom, woke.
Oh, they saying Gucci said something, right? Because who was in the how the police how the feds got that statement? It was only Gucci and Gucci, his pops, Pooh Shiesty, and Big 30 in the room. Everybody else was in the other room. They had his guys had everybody else hemmed up. Well, they ain't even had them hemmed up. They was asking them for drinks. That's how the other dudes got caught. Cause they accepted the drink and then they prints was on the glass.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they was in there drinking.
And the security guard was downstairs.
Then they pulled their guns out, right?
The security guards was downstairs, and they came upstairs, and they saying they can't get in. They started pulling out their guns and like trying to force their way in, but then they realized they was outnumbered. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they said it was like 9 of them niggas.
Yeah, it was 9 of them.
Yeah.
Now 9 of Shicey's niggas.
Yep.
Yeah. Them niggas knew what they was doing when they was on their way there.
Yeah,
they knew what they was doing.
They took a rental. They knew what they was doing.
Yeah.
His pops rented the rental.
You said his pops rented the rental?
Yeah.
The brothers in South Carolina put. It said Matthew 16:26, gain the whole world and lose your own soul.
Yeah, cause nigga Shiesty greedy, bro. Like you the king of Memphis. you already on. Well, what is you trying to get it at the mud? You're not in the mud no more, gang. You straight.
He said in this song, he said I added 9 M's to my name.
Yeah, like
so if you got 9 M's, what you talking for?
Yeah, he get out. He got Maybachs, all type of whips.
Yeah,
all the same colors.
The contention might be, according to the contract, he can make a lot more money if he was independent.
No, but y'all know what? Go ahead.
I was just about to say that's going in the greed, gang. Like you already straight, bro.
Yeah, but you know his family got him on that though. His family, they got him to do that to Gucci because, Big Scar died. And the family was asking for the funeral money. Gucci only gave them like 10, I think.
10 rap for a funeral, dog. I'm gonna say something very insensitive, dog.
He asked for the chain back or something like that.
And he asked for the chain back, and they got mad. And so that's probably why Shiesty did that.
10 rats for a funeral. Them niggas trying to turn up in that motherfucking bit. Like, damn, nigga, put that nigga in the ground, cuz RIP, dog.
No, they wanted more than 10 racks. They wanted like, so Gucci gave 10 and somebody else gave like 10. So they had like 20 racks. They wanted more.
Damn, they trying to have some people come perform in that motherfucker. They trying to.
Yeah. Like, what kind of funeral y'all trying to have? Like the one with the casket standing up.
Right.
Under
the Angelo Act.
Gotta have a statue of his ass in the front. Like, come on, dog. What we doing?
Yeah.
He said under the Angelo Act. He talking about something.
Hey, but to add on though, that's like show and prove that money only make you more what you already are. You know what I'm saying? Money don't change you. It only make you more what you are.
Yeah, that's a bar.
You know, if you a sharing person and you get a lot of money, you will share with more people. If you a killer and you win a lottery, you're gonna kill more people. You know what I'm saying? Money only make you more what you are.
They give you more access to what you could be doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they ain't finna get no life though. They was just
they ain't
finna get life though.
He already got charges, man. He fought you. You know.
They go.
Where it happened
in Dallas.
See, in the South is different, bro. They, you know what I'm saying? That's different.
It depends on the
Yeah,
state,
no,
but
he ain't finna get no life. You got to look at the statues and what I mean. He ain't hurt him or nothing. You know what I'm saying? If he would
I
have
can see
shot
him
him or
get about
something,
10.
yeah, he gonna get way more than he just did. That 3, he finna get
Yeah.
plenty years. He probably finna get 20 years.
20, I
life.
don't know about no
20
20.
years is life. Shit. 20
Even
years,
10
that's
years
life.
could seem like life, dog.
Bro, he could
Shit.
get 20. He was on Fed paper. I mean, on Fed house arrest
20 is life. That's life.
in a halfway house. Out, you in the halfway house and you out doing the worst thing imaginable,
All
and
right.
they telling you you don't supposed to be out. You on the phone with them. So you just basically like, hold on, let me rob Gucci first, then I'll get back. I'll get back with y'all. I'll be back.
Right. They talking about you out of town right now? No, I ain't out of town. Whole time nigga out of town. Nigga out of town. They check his ankle monitor. They see exactly where he at. His ass
Crazy.
dumb, bro. But
No,
I got appreciate it.
no. He was he he live in Dallas.
Oh, he staying there? Shiesty
Yeah,
stay in Dallas?
so he's supposed to be in the halfway house though. But
Oh,
he got a crib.
I'm thinking he's supposed to be in Tennessee somewhere.
He got a crib right by the Dallas Cowboys practice facility or something.
Oh, so that's why they was using that studio in Dallas.
Yeah, that's
So
probably their
Gucci went to
studio.
meet. So Gucci probably
Yeah,
went to meet him out there.
yeah. Gucci and them drove down there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's crazy. See, for the love of money, these niggas, like what my boy said, you get more money, you get more access to what you it open up ungodly desires, right?
Right.
Let me grab this. What's that on? This First Timothy chapter 6, and I'm gonna start at verse. I'm gonna start at verse 5. It's a perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. Right? So it's a perverse disputings, meaning arguments of men of corrupt minds. These brothers ain't soundly minded, right? And they destitute of truth. Right? It says supposing that gain is godliness, right? Because right now, all our people, the mindset that we have, everybody trying to chase the bag. Some way, somehow. Everybody trying to get some type of money, some type of better financial situation. Some way, somehow. Whether it's on the right hand side or on the left hand side. Whether they doing it, getting the slow motion or they getting it through the, out the streets or whatever. They trying to gain, they trying to get their bag together or whatever. It say from such withdraw thyself. It say, but godliness with contentment is great gain. So this Timothy, he's saying that godliness with contentment is great gain. Not all gain is godliness. Right? So you
Right.
trying to get out of this contract, you so thirsty to get out of that contract and get more money, avenues open to yourself, right? That you willing to basically throw away your whole freedom just to get out of it, and you still not even out of the contract because you made him forcefully sign it, which means it's not credible. It's not a credible signature. It was forced, right? So it's not even credible. Like you can't. The contract is still held. It's still upheld. It say, but godliness with contentment is great gain. You supposed to be okay with them 9 M's that you said you had, and then you just work your way out that contract, and then once it's open to you, now you do what you got to do, to get all that extra money that you could have been getting. That don't got to go to the record label. Don't got to go to 1017. Don't got to go to whatever, studio costs and all that. All that you get all your back end off of that night. It says, for we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And if a lot of people had this mindset, had this precept in their mind, that we brought nothing into this world and we can carry nothing out, it'd be a lot less crash outs over money and over disputes and all that.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot less crash outs. A lot of people they think they want to be buried with their money and all that. It's not gonna work like that. You know, it says, and having food and raiment, let us be there with content. It says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and the snare. Right? He was tempted to go do what he did, and the people that are rich, they feel like they can get away with things that people that don't have money, can't get away with. And in a way, it's true, because money is power. Money open doors that people without money can't get into. We see things like that every day, right? But it's not the case with everything. It says, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition, right? And we see what happened with the Diddy trial and all that. His money brought him into foolish and hurtful lusts, right? And it drowned him in destruction, right? This Shasti, his money, his lust of money brought him into, feeling invincible, basically. Nigga, you just got out the feds. You should know you're not invincible, brother.
Not even
You
just
got
money,
caught
but
already.
it seems like he wanted power, like control.
Yeah. Yeah, wanted power and control. And that's what having money do to you. It make you feel like you got that power. They say money is power. You can do a whole lot of things with money.
And you
They
know
say
what?
for the love of money is the root of all evil, not money itself, but the love of money. What you would do for it is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith. Right? A lot of people they chose money over the truth. You had the opportunity to know the truth, but you chose your money over it, right? And pierced themselves through with many sorrows. That's it on that.
Yeah, you know, Shasi was in the prison for a long little minute, and he wasn't down bad. He had money. When you have money, you get things done through the money. So even being in that position, you're going to start to adopt the mindset of, this is what gives me power. See what I'm saying? Like we were going into before, you're going to assimilate to your surroundings. Where we live in a spiritual world. So him even coming from that environment of the prison and getting out, people would expect him to learn from his mistakes, start living better. But a nigga that's in prison would tell you, nigga, in the system, you get worse. My brother be calling me through the jail phone, and he like, man, when I get out, you gonna look at me in my eyes, you gonna be like, man, you got a different look in your shit. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's real spiritual. And you see what these things do. You see what the environment causes nigga to do, because it's not smart. But then again, you're gonna start to assimilate to the mindset of your environment. So even though he got out of the prison, he was still in that mindset. It's dumb as fuck, but this is just how it goes. So this is what I gotta do. I'm already knowing the mindset of these niggas. I'm from Birmingham, nigga. And niggas do bullshit like this all the time. They do it because they believe this is just how it goes.
And Salakia, when he first touched down, it was somebody that said somebody was coming out. They were saying that they was locked up with Shiesty. And they said that he was standing up eating his food. Like niggas wasn't letting him sit down. They basically saying he wasn't that in prison. Like he wasn't that nigga in prison. Like niggas was basically, holding him around up in there. Basically saying that. So I feel like, with that, the nigga kind of had a chip on his shoulder. Like he had to prove himself, that he really liked that. And that be the thing with a lot of brothers, like niggas be feeling like they gotta prove themselves to people when people speak up against them and shit like that. You ain't really gotta prove yourself to nobody. But when you let that peer pressure get to you, it corrupt your mind, and then now you start wanting to prove yourself to these people, and you do dumb shit and you become a crash out. And now you done let niggas trick you out your spot. Them niggas, they still out here. They still talking and all that, and you locked up now. You back locked up. Looking like a goofy. So it's like you gotta really, that's why that precept said, what it say, a fool is gonna do what's right in his eyes. But a wise man go hearken unto counsel. Because if you ain't got no counsel, your ass just gonna do what's right in your eyes and you go fall every time, listening to your own understanding.
And guess what? Wisdom would have actually got him what he wanted, but he took the route of foolishness and impulse, trying to obtain what he wanted by an impulsive decision, which led to violence. But he could have very well got a better contract deal just with wisdom, communication, psychology. If somebody takes a liking to you, they'll be more likely to go whatever direction that you're trying to bring it. There's different ways that he could have actually got the contract that he wanted to.
Right.
That would have been more rational than the direction that he took. See what I'm saying?
But ain't no wisdom over there. Right. We heard the brother OG on the beginning of FDO. We know he ain't no wisdom there. The nigga daddy did the hit with him. We know it ain't no wisdom in him. So it's like, and it just showed the state of our people for real. Like, we doomed. This shit doomed right here. You got mamas, they fucked up in the head. Daddies, they fucked up in the head. The child that's being raised is gonna ultimately be fucked up. And it's just gonna continue to cycle through these curses. You know, the cycle just continues.
And what else I got from that, just to add on, is like, you know, the old Gucci wouldn't have failed for that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just because you, like a lot of brothers, when we get in the truth, we leave the streets, go to the truth. You still got to stay dangerous. You know what I'm saying? You still got to stay dangerous. You still got to have that warrior mentality. You can't be so, you can't be, just because you leave the streets and now niggas going vegan and shit, you know what I'm saying? Now you all relaxed and shit, you know what I'm saying? Because when you still got to keep that warrior mentality, you know, because the old Gucci, when you in the hood, when you in the streets, your spider senses is, you kind of see evil coming before it comes, because you in the mix. You got that warrior mentality. You can't never lose that. No matter how positive you turn, you gotta still be a warrior, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of. You said you poured. Let me see if I can find that.
Now you never know the things that we might not know. You feel what I'm saying? Even with the YNW Melly situation, he wanted to kill his friends apparently because his friend beat his ass in front of his bitch. There be situations like that niggas don't even know about.
Right.
Right. This
pride.
This Proverbs 22:3. It says a prudent man, meaning a man that's circumspect. Right. Matter of fact, let me go into this word prudent. Right. This word for prudent.
Having a wise foresight, making decisions based upon how you want the future to be.
Right, that word for prudent is crafty, shrewd, sensible, crafty, sly, subtle, right? So this brother is slick, basically. So it's saying like a subtle or a prudent man. So okay, hold on, let me go back. Foresees the evil.
Right.
Right. So like you said, the old Gucci, he was up on his square. He looking over his shoulder. He not going for stuff like that.
Right.
You know, but this Gucci nowadays, he relaxed. He comfortable. You know, this damn Beverly Hills Gucci.
Right.
This ain't East Atlanta Center. You know, this Beverly Hills Gucci. Let's say a prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. Meaning he go get away from that, or he go basically prepare himself for what's coming. It say,
Right.
but the simple pass on and are punished. Right. So when you're not being prudent, or when you're not being subtle, you know, or when you let go of those old characteristics that you had of being on point, you know, then now you being simple, and you get punished for that.
Right.
Right? If I was Gucci, I wouldn't have let all them niggas in the studio. What hell no?
Right.
I don't know you niggas. Your niggas ain't getting there.
Right. Come
Y'all niggas gotta
Yeah.
wait downstairs.
That be the thing too, nigga. If I say that you could come, that don't mean all your friends could come and shit, nigga. Especially with street niggas and shit like that.
Right.
That's how shit go flow.
Right. Come on. Come on. Them niggas wouldn't have never got in the studio. It would have been over with.
Gotta stay dangerous, man.
You gotta stay
Even
dangerous.
even if you when you go positive or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You gotta like bro brought the scripture, you gotta foresee shit. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta be on point. You still gotta have that warrior mentality. It's a saying that it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's always you gotta stay on point. We gotta stay war ready, man.
A part of being a warrior is what, nigga? Being aware, nigga. Aware of your fucking surroundings. If you pay
Right.
attention to this nigga name, it's Pooh Shiesty, nigga. It's not Pooh Brotherly or Pooh
Right.
Pooh Loyalty. You
His
feel
name
you
not
feel what I'm
not
saying?
full trustworthy.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Pooh Shiesty.
So you
dog.
should already know. And then he coming. They talking about he coming. I'm sure his cameras in the studio. This nigga coming up. He got 9 niggas with him. You just coming up. You got 9 niggas with you. Y'all just coming to the stool. That shit probably ain't even. Well, it might be normal. I don't know. I ain't been in the stool session in a minute. Sometimes niggas do bring gang in the stool with them. But you should know, like, if y'all already been having issues with this contract, because this
Right.
couldn't be the first time this brother done brought some issues up.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
but if y'all already having issues with this contract and all that, now you got to be circumspect. This nigga got some animosity towards me. It ain't that same how we had it in the beginning when I signed this nigga in 2021. It ain't that
Right.
same relationship. You know, it's a different relationship now. Now it's just strictly business, and this nigga is into it with me over the contract that I'm holding him bound to.
Right.
You know, so you gotta take proper precautions for that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that was the last thing we was going into though. Brothers got any more precepts or anything?
I wanted to bring this up just to
Bring it
basically
up.
sum up what we went into. So, this is Jeremiah 51 and verse 1. Thus said the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me a destroying wind. Right? So this destroying wind, that's parallel with Revelation 7 and 1, where you see the angels holding back the 4 winds of heaven. And the closer we get to these end times, to that final plague, we're going to start to see these winds being let go slowly, right? And the prophetic conditions coming into play, likened unto dominoes falling, right? Basically making a summary of the things we already spoken on.
So these things is go like the brother said, them 4 winds is coming, right? This place is getting ready to be destroyed. As we saw in the Iran Lego videos, they ready to get Babylon up out of here. You know, along with other countries. You got Russia, China, North Korea, all these countries. They ready to get together and basically abolish this place off the face of the earth. Right? And with that coming in, you know, our salvation comes hand to hand with that. Right? But before those things, you got prophecies that still gotta happen. You got the mark of the beast. You got the heightening of Jacob's trouble, right? Because it's starting to begin, you know, but the tensions is going to get higher, in which it's going to be points in times where, you know, our people are going to be getting slaughtered and killed at a massive rate, man. Right? You got the famine, right? There's gonna be civil war over here in America. So what is you gonna be doing to basically, you know, keep yourself straight through all these troubles that's gonna come to this land, right? You gonna need wisdom and knowledge, right? This Isaiah 33:6, right? It says, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. That's what's gonna keep you stable, right? It said in the book of Psalms, I believe that's 111 and 10, that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments, right? So wisdom and knowledge is the keeping of the Lord's commandments, right? You keep God's commandments. Hey, it say in Job 5:19 that he's going to keep you, shielded from all those troubles to come. Paraphrasing, right? So wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of that time. That's what's going to keep you stable. That's what's going to keep you on your square. It says in strength of salvation, right? That's going to be the strength of your salvation right there. Wisdom and knowledge. It says the fear of the Lord is his treasure, right? Because when you fear the Most High, right, you got to make sure that you actually fearing the Most High. Don't never lose fear of the Most High. Once you stop losing fear of the Most High, you in a bad space with him, right? Because if you're not fearing the Lord, you're not fearing his judgment. You're not fearing what he could potentially do to you. And it's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. So you want to maintain that fear of the Lord. You want to continue to keep his commandments, to stay in his good space, so that you can have that wisdom and knowledge and be stable in these troubling times that are for to come.
All right, we know that the book of Revelations even speaks on the lukewarm being spewed out, right? This is a very serious time. It's not a time to be playing. We're at a position in prophetic timing before it gets very bad. So in this position, what are you doing before it gets terrible and to where we're expected to be preserved? What did you do prior, right? But this is Revelation 22 and verse 12. And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according to his work shall be. Right? Every man is going to be given according to their work. Right? If you need faith in these last days, you're going to get put into a predicament to where you need to exemplify faith. If you need strength in these last days, you're going to be put into a predicament to where you're going to need to exemplify strength, right? The scenario might feel as though you pray for strength and you're given weakness, but strong men have stories of going through weak times in order to actually get strong. You feel what I'm saying? So take what the Most High gives you and actually multiply upon it, right? That's going into the prophecy about multiplying upon the talents, right? He gave one servant 2, he turned into 4. Gave another servant 5, he turned it to 10. Take the situations as well as the gifts that the Most High gives you and make it profitable for his kingdom, right? If you're not profitable to your damn self, who the fuck can you be profitable to? So you can't be no hypocrite, man. You feel?
So if brothers ain't got nothing else, Lord willing, y'all been edified. This is the first edition of Feed the Flock. Goddamn. This is the first edition of Feed the Flock Friday. And call all your humble by Shem Yahushua. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.
Shalom.